Welcome to 100 Yards Football. It's an NFL, college, and football legend. It's Marcus Allen, running back out of USC by way of the LA Raiders. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. Marcus Allen, USC. He's got a birthday coming up. I believe it's March the 21st. He'll be 62 years old. Born in the year 1960, same year I was born. I was just born in the summer. And Marcus Allen, when you look at his career and you look at him overall as a football player, I don't think he get enough credit. As the type of player he was, both on the college and the pro level. Seems like he's been still slighted as being one of the greatest players that ever played the game. But today I'm going to give him his flowers. I'm going to tell you when I first heard of Marcus Allen, and it goes back to when I was in high school. I was a senior, and I was going to bookstores in Midtown in my hometown of Memphis. I was getting this college football high school book. And I remember getting the book right before Labor Day weekend was the first days of school, and they had all these players that was rated on a national level. And I saw Marcus Allen rated as overall the fourth best football player in the country. And that year, some of the players that were rated in that top 50 were John Forcade that went to Ole Miss, Art Schlichter that went to Ohio State, Walter Abercrombie that went to Baylor, Ronnie Skinner, who played at Christian Brothers High School in Memphis, Tennessee, who was going to Ole Miss. James Berry, who went on and played at the University of Tennessee, you know his son, Eric. Chip Banks, that was out of Augusta, Georgia, that went to USC along with Marcus Allen. Buck Bellew, who's out of Valdosta, Georgia, that went to the University of Georgia. And Butch Woolfolk, who's out of New Jersey, that went to Michigan. That's when I first saw Marcus Allen's name. Then, during the end of the season, probably in December, his name came up again. I knew some people that was from the San Diego area that had relatives that were living in Memphis, Tennessee, that knew the Allen family, and all they kept saying is Marcus Allen. They kept talking about he played quarterback and safety. And then they talk about this high school game where they won the state championship in 1977. And they beat a school by the name of Kearney High School. And Marcus Allen went to Lincoln, a school that had some famous alumni like Terrell Davis, Norman Powell that's playing in the NBA, Achilles Smith that played with the Cincinnati Bengals, Steve Taylor that played quarterback with Nebraska, and Jimmy Gunn, a great USC veteran and great player at USC in the 60s that played with O.J. Simpson. In that high school game, and when I finally did my research, Marcus Allen scored 5 touchdowns. He had one interception with a touchdown, and he rushed for 195 yards. I said, this guy finna be serious on the next level. So he goes to USC. There's a log jam. He doesn't play his first year. He's behind Charles White. But what stuck out in my mind the next year, sophomore year, he started at fullback. Think about that. He sacrificed his attitude, his ego, to get on the field. And he blocked for a Heisman Trophy winner. Then he came back his next year, his junior year. First game they played the University of Tennessee. Knoxville, 95,000. And he had some of the toughest yards. So he had about 78 to 80 yards rushing, and it was hard, man. That Tennessee defense, they had a freshman by the name of Reggie White. They had a DN named Mike Kofer. They had some very special players on that side of the ball. But I knew watching him that night, he was going to be somebody that was going to be hard to handle. And look what his college career done. Ended up having about 1,600 yards his junior, then came back his senior year, became only one or two, three running backs to go over 2,000 yards. Ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. But with Marcus Allen is when he got to the LA Raiders. Played 16 seasons, 6 Pro Bowls, receiving yardage, 5,411 yards, over 12,000 yards rushing. First round pick in the 1982 draft. Unfortunately, him and Al Davis didn't have a good ending. But he said, you know what? He still went and performed with the Kansas City Chiefs, and him and Joe Montana got the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC playoffs. But what I'm going to remember him for, he had one of the most greatest runs in Super Bowl history. January 22nd, 1984. 191 yards rushing against the Washington Redskins and a 38-9 victory. And that 74-yard run was electric. It made you get up out of your seats. Him reversing field and him doing it with the grace. Flying like a bird. Marcus Allen, USC. And another thing about Marcus Allen, he's the only player to win the Heisman, one of the only few players to win the Heisman Trophy and win a Super Bowl championship and win a national championship. That's something special, man. And it's only 4 other players. 3 other players has won a Super Bowl MVP and a Heisman Trophy. Roger Staubach with Navy, Desmond Howard with Michigan, and Jim Plunkett with Stanford. And think about Marcus Allen, the school you went to, USC at that time, and the competition they had. Charles White, he had to beat out the running back position. But Anthony Munoz, Bruce Matthews, Don Mosbar, Chip Banks, Ronnie Lott, Dennis Smith, Ricky Gray. We talking about some Hall of Fame players there. Paul McDonald. The most powerful program right there and right there in the 80s, USC. And then taking it with the LA Raiders. And one thing I heard about Marcus Allen is that I heard he was a tremendous teammate and a very good guy. And it comes from a guy I know. Used to be my ex-wife first cousin, Bruce Wilkerson, who was drafted by the Raiders out of Tennessee. He said Marcus Allen was a class act. And think about how class Marcus Allen was. He was having all the success. And then he stood away and shared time with Bo Jackson. In the prime of his career now. Bo Jackson came to the Raiders in 87. Marcus Allen was only 27. And he was willing to take a step back. Man, this is a football player. And he really never, you heard him complain. That told me something about Marcus Allen, man. That's why he was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2003. And even now, he still look good for his age. He's a guy that I still think don't get enough respect. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. And the thing I'm going to say about Marcus Allen showed everybody at a high level when he played at Lincoln High School in San Diego, went out to USC 1981, first team All-American, Heisman Trophy winner. And then when he won the Super Bowl in 1984 with the LA Raiders, now the Oakland Raiders. Like the great Diana Ross. Tribute to Marcus Allen. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Gonna let it show. Look at Marcus Allen's resume. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. Thank you to my producer, Mr. Jeremiah Long. Marcus Allen, you was a very special football player, brother. God bless.